Welcome to the Kuhner Report. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. 617-266-6868 is the number. You can text us at 680-680. It's now 6:06 here on the great WRKO. Good morning, Boston. A lot to talk about. Got a lot of important stories. And I got to tell you, my friends, before I get to the substance of really the scandal that is now slowly, like a cancer, enveloping the Obama administration. And this could be, for the dear leader, maybe the mother of all scandals. Because unlike Benghazi, as bad as it was, unlike the IRS, as bad as it was, unlike Obamacare, as bad as it was, once you have veterans dying, one after another, by the dozens, this affects almost every American. This angers almost every American. The military, thank the Lord, is still one of the few institutions that we revere and respect and deeply uphold in this country. And that's why the White House and the liberal media are in full spin control. They are in full damage control mode, because if the truth gets out about what's really been going on at the VA, at the Veterans Administration for the last 5 years, it kind of frankly began under Bush, but it has now accelerated to an outrageous, almost criminal degree under the dear leader. This scandal will bury the Democrats in terms of public opinion, and they know it, and the liberal media knows it. Before I get to that, I was yesterday at a wonderful golf tournament at the Granite Links Golf Club in Quincy. Absolutely gorgeous course, wonderful, beautiful, posh country club, and I was there helping to raise money for our disabled veterans. And I want to thank all of the organizers of the tournament, the boys, many of them disabled, serving in Vietnam, serving in Afghanistan, serving in Iraq. There were even some who actually served in Korea, and a couple who had actually even served in World War II. It was great meeting all of them. It was great shaking their hands, having them tell me some of their war stories, what life is like coming back from conflict, coming back from combat, and the difficulties they encounter once you are disabled, once you're maimed or you're crippled or you come back severely wounded, and you are disabled, and how it's so difficult to try to get on with your life. And so it was one day whereby, thanks to many sponsors, especially Liberty Mutual, there were among others, WRKO was there as well, that these vets who've given us so much get at least one day where they can forget about their problems, enjoy a nice round of golf, have a delicious meal. It was a great buffet meal. Hang out with their fellow comrades and brothers in arms, share some stories, share some laughs. There was an auction to raise money. There was some raffle tickets. A good time was had by all. And in the end, Disabled Veterans of America was able to raise enough money to purchase 3, maybe 4 vans that will help pick up disabled veterans here in Massachusetts, in the greater Boston area and in Massachusetts, so our vets who served so much, sacrificed so much, gave so much, don't have to pay a cent. The van will pick them up and take them to the VA clinic or the VA hospital, so God willing they could get some treatment. And I gotta tell you, as I was there yesterday shaking hands, talking to the vets. Oh, by the way, there's a clip of me playing golf. It was we did this a couple days ago. First time I ever held a golf club in my life. If you want, you can go to WRKO.com. It is absolutely hilarious. It is the Kuhner on the golf course at Granite Links for the first time. And I'm telling you, it's going viral. People are watching it. They're laughing. My wife is laughing. Ashton keeps watching it. He's laughing. Anyway, Daddy basically, in a nutshell, makes a fool of himself. But let that go. As I'm there, I look around me and I see these vets. And I want to stress this to all of you. I know what it is to be in the job market today. You're always one day away from a potential pink slip. The economy is horrible. Many of us are out of work, or we're underemployed, or we're grateful to have a job, but we don't know how long we're going to be able to keep our job. Many of us are treading water. We're barely able to make our mortgage payments. We're living almost from check to check. You're trying to raise a family, how difficult it is today in our coarsened, vulgar culture that we live in. So I know that many of you now getting up on your way to work, maybe getting the kids ready to go to school, you have it hard. There's no question about it. And it's getting more difficult by the day. But honestly, trust me when I tell you this. When you see these wonderful, brave, courageous, disabled veterans, you don't have a problem. You don't have a problem. You're not spending your life in a wheelchair with your legs blown off because of some IED in Iraq. You're not walking around with traumatic brain injury because of some explosive that went on by some Taliban animal in Afghanistan. Whereby once a man 6'3", 6'4", almost a living Hercules, who was able to provide for his family, provide for his wife, be a role model and a caretaker for his children, a father to his children, now can barely walk an inch at a time with 2 canes, slurred speech, not able to think or function in any way that enables him to lead a normal life. Everything, going to the bathroom, brushing his teeth, getting up in the morning, is a strenuous effort. Everything is difficult. Everything is hard. You don't have a problem. When you see what they have to live with day after day, no arms, no legs, severe PTSD, where many of them are literally not able to sleep for months. Or if they do sleep, they sleep for an hour or 2, and they're not able to, they have nightmares, they wake up, their body's soaked in sweat, and this thing ravaging their body, day after day after day. One of them told me, Jeff, I can't hold down a job, my wife left me, she can't put up with me, my explosions, my rage, she took the children, I've lost everything. Where's the VA? We're raising money to help put our wonderful vets, our heroes, in vans to take them to the VA, and the VA is putting our vets on secret waiting lists. And I'm going to get to the scandal in a second, the meat, the guts of the scandal in a second. Because there's more news that's coming out, and it's upsetting news. And it's repulsive news. But I look at these vets, and I want to give a warning to everybody in the United States. Because I looked at them, and they all keep complaining, and I don't blame them, rightfully so, don't get me wrong, about the VA. And how bad the hospitals are, and how bad the clinics are, and how bad the health care is, and how the VA is not there for them. And how they don't get the treatment that they need and that they deserve. And that there are long waiting lists and long waiting lines. And some of them are waiting 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, some even a year. When their country called for them, when those twin towers came down on 9/11, when our leaders, Democrat and Republican, And I'm including Jean-Francois Kerry, Pepe Le Pew, and Madam Hillary Clinton. Don't forget that. When they beat the drums for war in Iraq, along with George Bush and Donald Rumsfeld, and they answered the call of patriotism, everybody waves the flag. Everybody makes a nice commercial on television. But when they come back, when they need us the most, and I'm going to be very candid now, we didn't put our lives on the line. They did. And their families who support them. When our country goes to war, you and I, civilians, we don't come back. We still have our legs. They're the ones who come back with their legs blown off, with their arms blown off, with traumatic brain injury, with severe PTSD. We don't have PTSD. We don't suffer severe traumatic brain injury. We have our limbs, we have our arms, we have our legs. We're not walking around rolling around in wheelchairs. We're not moving around in wheelchairs. They are. And now, when they need us most, for the rest of their lives, this is not tuberculosis. This is not pneumonia. This is not a broken arm or a broken leg. Okay, they come back, they get treated, they're better, they're well, they're 100% again. When your legs are gone, they're gone. Now, they're heroic. They try to live their lives to the fullest, to the best possible. They don't want to have this disability hold them back. I love them. I admire them. Please, don't get me wrong. The fact of the matter is, the guy's legs are gone. And no one's ever going to give him his legs back. And this is every day. After the cameras, after the parades, after the TV commercials. When you meet him and you say thank you. But then they go home. Their life continues. Their pain and suffering continues, and that of their family members, who they remember the man or woman they used to be, what they were before they were deployed. And now, after giving us so much, our own government, this sleazy, corrupt Obama regime, this incompetent, heartless, faceless Veterans Administration, staffed by incompetent, cold-hearted, greedy bureaucrats, sticking people on secret waiting lists, 40 dead in Phoenix. I'm going to have a story coming up next after the break. Now another whistleblower has come out, this time in West Virginia. Apparently now there are suicides they were covering up of veterans because of long waiting lists. Now it's coming out in Texas, in Missouri, in Colorado, in Pennsylvania. State after state after state. Where veterans were kept on waiting lists, secret waiting lists for 6, 9 months, even up to a year. And many of them died. We know of at least over 40 so far, and the body count is rising. Waiting to be treated. And every single one of those brave men and women that I saw yesterday keep talking to me, the VA is not there for us. The VA is not there for us. My friends, that's Obamacare. And this is not Jeff Kuhner trying to score political points. This is what happens when government runs healthcare. When government has a monopoly on healthcare. I saw it with my own eyes in Canada. When my mother died of cancer, when my mother-in-law died of cancer. You've got nowhere else to go. So when you only have the government offering you your help, your medical care, your medical assistance, you are basically a child. You're at their mercy. And you have to see these brave men and women desperately, the VA won't take care of us. And all I'm thinking is, look what they've reduced these incredible men to. Paupers, beggars, Serfs, please take care of me. Please treat me. Please see me. Are you kidding me? They should be able to go to any doctor they want, any medical facility they want, whether it's within the VA system or outside the VA system. They've earned it. It is the least we should give them, and not throw them into that prison, that gulag, that is the VA healthcare system. My friends, let me just say this, and then I'll get to the hard news of the day. The only thing that upset me yesterday was when the veterans walk up to me and say, thank you for being here. No. I'm behind the microphone because of you guys. Don't thank me. It's thank you. And the best way we can thank them for their incredible sacrifice and service is give them the medical care that they need, that they deserve, that they've earned. 617-266-6868 is the number. Coming up next, Jay Carney, I swear to you, says the dear leader has now only learned about the VA scandal when we heard it on television. That story next.
Just to follow up on that, when was the president first made aware of these problems, of these fraudulent lists that were being kept to hide the wait times? When was he first made aware of those problems? And when did other White House officials, top White House officials, become aware of these problems?
When you say these problems, the fact that there have been bureaucracies,
time, but
if you mean the specific allegations that I think were reported first by your network out of Phoenix, I believe we learned about them through the reports. I will double check if that's not the case, but that's when we learned about them, and that's when, as I understand it, Secretary Shinseki learned about them and immediately took the action that he has taken, including instigating his own review, or initiating his own review, but also requesting that the Inspector General investigate. And I think, again, I would point you to his testimony as well as the Inspector General's testimony last week.
And so do you think...
You liar, you fraud, you phony. That was Minister of Propaganda Jay Carney, 626 here on the great WRKO. Again, look at this act. Look at this smoke and mirrors. Look at his dog and pony show. So, all these people dying at the VA? We learned about it on TV. The president, I don't know, he clicked on CNN and he's like, no, all these people dying? And all these waiting lists? You mean in Phoenix and in Colorado and in Pennsylvania and in Texas and in Missouri and all over the... I don't know. This is... Jay, we got to get ourselves an internal investigation here, Jay. This is outrageous, Jay. I'm enraged, Jay. Have you noticed with this guy? Every time there's a scandal, he always seems... The dear leader always seems to learn about it on television. The IRS, remember he said, I first learned about it on television. I saw the reports on TV. Fast and Furious. I can't believe it. I'm turning on cable television and Fast and Furious. I'm stunned. Spying on the Associated Press, where they were going through the records of journalists going back 2 months. You want to talk about an assault on freedom of the press and free speech, but let that go. So you mean my administration has been snooping and spying on journalists? No, I'm shocked. I'm horrified. I got to get to the bottom of this. Well, my friends, my former paper, the Washington Times, just exposed this as another lie. According to the Washington Times, they came out with a detailed piece yesterday, an investigative story yesterday. There were problems at the VA with Bush in 2007, 2008. So when the Obama transition team came in, guess what? They were thoroughly informed. They knew about these problems going back 5 years. This is well documented. Obama was personally briefed 5 years ago. His political team was briefed 5 years ago. Everybody in his administration dealing with the VA was briefed 5 years ago. And they let it fester and fester and worsen and worsen. And now, all of a sudden, what? I swear, what's next? What's that? Mr. President, people are losing their health insurance by the millions because of Obamacare. No, I just learned. No, I just turn on the TV and I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I want an independent investigation. They're lying, my friends, because our vets, our military heroes, have been thrown away like dogs by this administration. And now they're desperately trying to cover it up. 6:29 on the great WRKO. What do you make of this scandal? Obama says he learned about it just through the TV. Do you believe him? 617-266-6868. And coming up next, another whistleblower emerges, this time in West Virginia. My friends, the vets, they're dropping like flies. Welcome back to the Kuhner Report, 637 here on the great WRKO, 617-266-6868. So, despite more lies and more cover-ups and more deception and more propaganda from the Obama regime, the dear leader apparently only learned about the massive VA scandal on television media reports. It's that he just turns on the TV. And he turns on the TV, and he just apparently, that's when he learns about the... See, he only finds out what's really going on in his government and his administration when he turns on Fox or CNN. Really? We've been targeting people? The IRS? My enemies? No. Jay, are you kidding me, Jay? We've been running guns into Mexico. Eric, you're... No, So now they're lying about what the president knew about the VA. He was briefed on this 5 years ago, and he allowed it to fester and get worse and get worse. Well, now there's another whistleblower. And more are coming. This is the tip of the iceberg. Here is a West Virginia doctor. Her name is Dr. Margaret Moxness. She was employed for 2 years, from 2008 to 2010, at the Huntington VA Medical Center in Charleston, West Virginia. She finally has come out and said, what I saw there at the VA was absolutely deplorable. There were secret waiting lists. Military vets who were supposed to be treated in 2 weeks, they were there suffering for 6 months, 9 months, up to a year. And whenever I tried to say anything, whenever I criticized the lack of treatment, I was told to be silenced because people at the VA only cared about their bonuses and not anything about our vets. Roll it, Brittany.
Well, I write the order. Return to clinic 10 days, 2 weeks tops. And then I check and look for my patient, and he's getting booked 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It got to be months to see these guys on a second visit, which means they're partially treated, which means they're worse off than no treatment at all. So I would complain to the staff that's booking, and they have their policies and procedures. That's controlled by administration. So I complain to administration. Say you cannot partially treat people, and then this is bad practice. It's doing harm. First to no harm. Right. So and we had conversation going, but nothing happened. More staff, I said. Could we reach out in the community? Could we even limit the service and turn people away so at least they know that they're not being treated? It's more honest, and maybe the media will get attention and we'll get some help. Nothing. And eventually they really stopped talking to me, so I was functionally silenced, but they just kept booking them. Mm-hmm. And I knew that the suicides were inevitable. I mean, and worse than if they hadn't been treated at all.
And then, this was, by the way, a hat tip to Fox and Friends. This was on Fox. And so here she is saying, look, you know how bad this is? Look, let's not even treat them. At least this way they can complain, they can go to the media, but don't pretend like we're treating them. and have them come in for a consultation visit. Oh, you've got, severe brain trauma. Oh, major severe PTSD. Listen, we'll take care of you. Make another appointment. Come back. And they're waiting. And they're waiting. And they're waiting. And the pain and the suffering grows. And Dr. Moxness now says she can confirm that at least 2 of our veterans, because of the lack of treatment, because they were left twisting in the wind, abandoned, committed suicide. Roll it, Brittany.
Of the people you saw, and you would say, okay, come back in 10 days, and then they were put months off, how many of your patients committed suicide waiting to come off the waiting list?
Well, I was there briefly now. It was less than 2 years, and there were 2. But I was in a very tight-knit community. There was lots of extra curricular supports, family, faith, vet centers. So we had help, but no thanks to the VA. I'm sorry. There was no, I mean, these men were eventually going to need more than a visit every 10 months.
Yeah.
I mean, they just need more than that. Now, mental health care dollars are, often short. Psychiatrists are in a high demand. The numbers are going up. I mean, it is a problem that is beyond the scope of the VA, but the VA is particularly handicapped in being able to handle it.
Sure.
Because they're so heavily, the bureaucracy is so heavy. The administrators are not adaptable and they're not nimble to meet these changing needs quickly enough to really help them. Mm-hmm. So my veterans weren't left in a corner. They were seen, but they were partially treated.
Right, exactly.
So that was a different kind of a problem than Dr. Foote's patients, but same thing. I mean, you're risking death, and it's a fixable problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. If somebody wants to fix it, you better believe it's a fixable problem. I want you to think about this. You come back from Iraq and Afghanistan. You've done multiple tours of duty. You've been in firefights. You've lost your buddies. You feel guilt-ridden. Why did I survive and they didn't? You go home and you meet the grieving girlfriends or the grieving wives. And in your mind, I survived, my buddies didn't. You're ravaged by PTSD. Let me tell you what one soldier told me. I go to bed tired, I wake up tired. I'm always tired. Once every 10 months? That's what once every 10 months. They're lucky if they can see a doctor once every 10 months. You come home, you feel so abandoned, you end up committing suicide? How the hell is this not on every front page in the country? How the hell is Eric Shinseki, VA secretary, still have a job? How the hell does Jay Carney stand there with that smug face of his and say, oh, the president we have to protect the dear leader now. We have to protect the dear leader. He only learned about it on television. This is your VA. These are your troops. Look, honestly, to the libs out there, you don't want to go after Benghazi, that's on your head. You don't want to go after IRS, that's on your head. You want to ignore every scandal, that's on your head. But on this, look at those Vietnam vets that you see panhandling on the street. Homeless, Vietnam vet. He was drafted. The government came to his door and told him to fight in the jungles of Vietnam. We send these men off to war, and then we treat them like they're dogs when they come back? Under your president? Under this regime? We now know at least 40 deaths. There's going to be many more, and many more suicides coming out because of their neglect and mistreatment. And yet you still won't criticize this man? Because he is the Sun King? He is the dear leader? He is the anointed one? He is the Messiah? Shame on you. I'm telling you, from the bottom, I'm telling you, God will not forgive you. And you can laugh and you can smirk. I'm telling you, history will not forgive you, God will not forgive you, and I believe in the end the American people will not and should not forgive you. 617-266-6868 is the number. Mike, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for taking my call.
Hi, Mike.
It's a system that's overwhelmed, and it has been overwhelmed for quite some time. However, everything got exacerbated there when we went into the Gulf War. So now we were getting ready to close VA hospitals. And then after the troops started coming back, we were just flooded with veterans. And so it's a burden. And the bureaucracy that undertakes in the VA, it can't handle all this stuff. And you're right about the suicides. It's a shame. The op tempo that the military's under, 2, 3, 4 deployments for these guys coming back to a system that can't handle them, it's inevitable.
And Mike, I got to tell you, what upsets me the most is it's almost like they're stuck in this VA system. Why don't we give them the ability to go outside of the VA? In other words, if they're not getting treated, take 2 weeks. They want to use 2 weeks as the benchmark. Fine, let's use 2 weeks. Then,
because that shows that they can't take care of their own.
Bingo.
And so now they're still processing claims for Agent Orange for the Vietnam. There are 1 million claims behind.
Incredible.
They're stacked in rooms, the claims.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for that call, Mike.
All right, thanks.
You want to see what death panels look like? This is Obamacare. This is on a micro. This is just for the troops. With Obamacare, I'm telling you, these are death panels. You have to ration care. Too many troops for limited resources. They give them only a certain amount of money. Here's the budget, and you deal with it. And so they decide who lives and who dies. Bill, you're up next. Thanks for holding. You're on the Kuhner Report. Welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, I'll tell you, I'm with you on this one. I think they should eliminate the whole VA altogether and put them into the regular system like we're in. There's no reason there should be a second-class system for these guys.
Well, in theory, it's supposed to be a first-class system, but
Yeah,
Bill,
but
the problem is this.
It's never been, Jeff. That's the problem. It's not under Obama. Even when Obama was running, he was telling, he said, we're going to try and fix this thing. Okay? So that was broken.
And he did nothing.
He was there.
Hold on. What did he fix? He's had 5 years. What did he fix?
No, he hasn't fixed it. But nobody else.
And that we know of, at least 40 are dead. And so what has Obama done? He's created a VA system for all of the American people. That's his solution.
Yeah, that's not true.
That is true. It's government-run health care, which is exactly what the VA is.
Jeff,
and I warned you about this. And I told you were going to get rationing. And I told you were going to get death panels. And I told you people were going to lose their health insurance. And I told you insurance premiums were going to skyrocket. And everything I told you has happened. And instead of saying, you know what, let's learn from history. Look, I'll tell you, because I experienced it. The VA was my mother. My mother was dying of cancer. They wouldn't treat my mother. My mother was in waiting list after waiting list after waiting list. Go pick up a paper in Britain. It's what's destroying the National Health Service over there. People it's an average of a 20-month waiting list if you're in England or Canada for any kind of serious treatment. So now your solution is to call up and say, oh, Jeff, kick him off the VA and put him on Obamacare. Oh, you want all of us to die? That's your solution, Bill.
We're all on Obamacare, and I don't see anybody dying.
I'll tell you this. We're on Obamacare now, and I can show you examples of people where rationing is already taking place. People who have cancer have been denied treatment.
Jeff, all you're doing is making up, these are all...
No, I'm not making anything up. The facts are the facts. You don't want to deal with the facts.
You're making stuff up, all right?
What did I make up?
What? There's nobody that's dying from Obamacare. That's crap.
Whoa. Wait, what are you talking about? There are women that came out with cancer. They lost their health insurance. They're dying. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, health insurance?
They lost their health insurance because of Obamacare. This was even the president even MSNBC had to admit that was true.
They went back on the next day.
No, they weren't. They were only partially put back on.
Were they? So they were partially.
Bill, honestly, listen, Bill, honestly, you're wasting people's good time. Listen, Bill, I'll say it to you one last time. Okay? Listen, Bill, no one is going to take away your welfare check. Buddy, relax. Okay? You're going to have your Medicaid. Don't worry. You're going to have your Medicaid. What I'm telling you is this. I can tell right now, Medicare, the government-run system in Canada, okay, nationalized, single payer, killed my grandmother. They wouldn't even treat her. She had a heart attack. They wouldn't treat her. She died on a gurney. My mother...
What's happening here?
My mother... It's happening. You better believe it's happening here. It happened to my mother. It happened to my mother-in-law. It's happening in Canada. It's happening in Britain. It's happening in Europe. Now, as we're seeing Obamacare be implemented, we're seeing all of these problems. You're already getting death panels. You're already getting long lines. You're already getting rationing. Genius. Do you know that we already are short $60,000 doctors? Do you know that?
Jeff, there are no...
Are we short 60,000 doctors? Yes or no?
We're not short 60,000 doctors. We're not. People are going to the healthcare facilities every day.
Bill, I don't know how to break the news to you.
I don't see lines outside.
I don't, because, listen, look, hey, I don't have a general physician.
That's your fault. I have one.
No, I can't get one.
Why?
Because there's a shortage of GPs. Genius.
They don't have...
And you already have long waiting lists. For me to see my doctor now, it takes me at least 3 weeks. When I first, in this country, when I first came here over 14 years ago, it took me 2 days to see a doctor. Now it takes me 3 weeks. It's already happening. So, and I'm not even seeing a doctor, I'm seeing a nurse. And I'll tell you what else is the problem. Because of exactly of people like you. Because we have 20 to 30 million illegal immigrants in this country who are using our hospitals, draining our welfare system, abusing our Medicare, abusing our Medicaid. So let me get this straight. So this is what you liberals want. You want our vets to come back and they get no treatment. And they're dying. They're on lists, but secret lists. But the illegals, because we have to be compassionate, not only do they get amnesty, they go to the front of the line. Obamacare for them, emergency room treatment for them, welfare for them, Medicare and Medicaid for them. That's liberalism. That's you.
Jeff, is that a better system than are they in a better system right now than Obamacare?
Pardon me?
Is the VA a better system than the regular healthcare system in this country?
Obamacare is a disaster. It is as bad as the VA.
I didn't ask you that.
I'll tell you this right now.
Why don't you answer a question once in a while?
I'm answering a question. How come you don't answer my question?
I did answer your question.
No. Listen, genius. Let me ask you this: Are illegals using our healthcare system? Yes or no?
They have been because
they have. No. Are they now? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so why are you allowing them? Why are you and the Democrats allowing them? 20 to 30 million. 20 to 30 million could take care of all of our veterans. That's number one. Number two, genius. Number two, genius. The parts of our healthcare system that still work are the ones that are private. Stupid.
But Jeff, the courts told us.
But Jeff, get off my phone. Honest to God, get a life, get a job. Seriously, get a job and do something productive with your life, okay? Don't stand there and take welfare, smoke crack, and take Medicaid, and stand there and say, oh, Obamacare. Maureen, you're up next. Thanks for, you see what I gotta put up with? These are the libs that are bankrupting this state. You want to know why you got so many illegals taking away health care from the veterans? Because of guys, idiots like him. Maureen, you're up next. Go.
Hi, how are you, Jeff? I think this is such an abominable case. As a mother of a vet, not alone are the vets themselves guilt-ridden. You're guilt-ridden. The whole entire family is guilt-ridden. You suffer their pain, with their highs, with their lows. Everything in a family revolves around them. Even those of the vets that we think are highly functioning and doing well, at the back of their minds they're dealing with the parents and the ghost-starved parents of their fallen comrades. And it's eating away at them all the time. And here we have who we look up to, or we expect them to take care of our heroes. They were heroes when they gave them the flag and marched them off. And, the few holidays in the year, we hear about these wonderful heroes, and that's it.
Maureen, I'm so with you. I mean, look, I'm just so with you, honestly. See, look, unlike the idiots like Bill, all these libs, who never met a veteran, never spent time with a veteran.
Their parents. Go
talk to their parents. Talk to their spouses.
What we suffer along with them, and how it breaks my heart. It eats away at me. It angers me into such a fury sometimes when I hear idiots who don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. These young boys went away 4 deployments, 5 deployments. My son, I don't recognize the man that I see now, and I'm trying to find who he was. I never will. I never will.
Maureen, if you don't mind me asking, does your son, does he suffer from PTSD?
Yes, he does, and he's TBI.
Does he live with you, or does he live by himself?
No, he's out of state at the moment, and it's, he's going from place to place to see where he can get the best treatment and the best place he can find peace of mind and peace in his soul and in his heart.
How many, Maureen, if you don't mind me asking, how many tours, did he serve, Iraq or Afghanistan?
Iraq, and he was in there from the beginning. He did 4 tours. He lost a lot of his comrades. The last tour really, I think, burned him out completely, and it really hit him very, very hard. Because, a couple of times he wondered why he was spared.
No, I know. I hear that a lot.
And we have that same guilt, Jeff. Like, I know the parents of some of his friends who passed away, were killed. And I also, and the rest of his family, as does all of these young veteran families, carry an element of guilt. Why was my child spared, son or daughter? Doesn't matter. And it's beyond comprehension that anybody who would do anything at all to put something in the way of helping these young men and women. I see the Vietnam vets panhandling, and I just think I put my hand in my purse and make sure I give them something, because I'm hoping that 20 years on, when I'm not here, will that be my son or one of his friends? Who knows?
Maureen, God bless you. God bless your son. I want to say a special prayer for you and your son.
God bless all of them. And
thank your son. Thank your son for his service.
And let people put it on the front pages. What's the journalists? Is there anybody listening? Doesn't anybody care?
Maureen, God bless you.
Thank you.
And God bless your son. Tell him I say thank you very much for his service. He's a hero, and he always will be a hero.
Thank you.
God bless you. 617-266-6868 is the number. We'll continue this next hour. Don't go away. All of your calls. Do you think heads should roll over the VA scandal? Obama says he learned about it on television. Do you believe him? 617-266-6868. And do you know a vet who's been denied treatment or coverage? I want to hear from you. Don't touch that dial.
News at the top and bottom, talk in between.
And why won't anybody discuss this but me?
This is AM 680 WRKO, Boston.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of the Kuhner Report, 7:07 here on the great WRKO, AM 680, and now on 93.7 HD2, 617-266-6868. My friends, we're going to stay on this vet story at least for another segment, but just a very quick heads up. This Saturday at the State House, the steps of the State House, from 2 to 4 p.m., May 24th, of DCF. Please. She is being tortured. She is wasting away. The state has effectively kidnapped her, taken her away from her parents. I need your help. The administration, Mini-Me, the Governor Deval Patrick's administration is buckling. There is growing public pressure on the mistreatment of this poor young girl. May 24th is going to be her birthday, her 16th birthday. Let's give her the best gift we can, show up in huge numbers. And this is not just about Justina Pelletier. This is about sending a message to the liberal Democrats who dominate Beacon Hill and dominate the governor's office, that they work for us, that they can no longer trample on our rights and our liberties and our freedoms, that we are not their servants, but we are their masters, that they work for us. And there's only so much that I can do without your help. And I need you to show up. In fact, I'm challenging all of you and urging all of you to show up. Why? Don't complain to me about how bad things are in this state, how badly mismanaged and corrupt it is, if none of you are willing to take a couple hours off on a Saturday to go and protest one of the most beautiful, righteous things you can ever protest, the freeing of a 16-year-old girl from the clutches of an out-of-control, arrogant DCF, so she can get the medical care that she needs and deserves and to be back in the arms of her loving parents. This girl may die. We can save her. And we can finally break the back of this power-hungry, venal, corrupt, tyrannical, liberal regime that is running this state into the ground. But my friends, I need you to show up. Please bring a family member, bring a friend, bring a colleague. The more of us that show up, the more that we will cause fear in them, the more we'll make them panic, the more they will realize there is a growing opposition and it's time that they be held accountable. So please, this Saturday, May 24th, 2 to 4 p.m., the Kuhner Report is sponsoring a major rally to free Justina Pelletier. We'll be at the steps of the State House. Lou Pelletier will be there. Members of the Pelletier family will be there. Some state representatives will be there. Let our voice be heard, and let's bring this girl home. Getting back to the VA scandal. I got to give a hat tip to Jonathan Karl from ABC News, a liberal reporter, but at least he puts his patriotism before his politics. Now, with the growing a revelation after revelation of VA hospital after VA hospital, in Phoenix, 40 dead, suicides in West Virginia, people dying in Colorado, massive long waiting lines in Texas, in Pennsylvania, in Missouri, in state after state after state. The only person that has been fired from all of this is VA health official, Undersecretary of Health, Dr. Robert Petzel, who in fact announced that he was going to retire last September, and they already picked his successor 2 weeks ago. And this is who the Obama administration is saying, we're holding everybody accountable. Well, look, we got rid of Petzel. And Jonathan Karl is like, are you kidding me? This guy announced that he was retiring 8 months ago. You already have the replacement where you were grilling him on Capitol Hill just 2 weeks ago. In other words, this guy's even a non-scapegoat scapegoat. He's not even a scapegoat because he's going to retire with the full pension. Look at Jonathan Karl finally challenge Jay Carney on the lies and lack of accountability in the VA scandal, and look at how Carney lies and lies and lies. Roll it, Brittany.
Before what happened.
But Jay, how can you suggest that his resignation comes as accountability when the VA put out a press release on September 20th saying he was leaving? This is almost 8 months ago.
John, I would refer you to what the American
was nominated 2 weeks ago. I don't care what the American Legion has to say. I'm asking what you have to say.
Well, I would point you to the American Legion, which obviously is a deep interest in this matter and has been reported on significantly by your network and others in terms of what they've said about this issue. And note that they look at Mr. Petzel, Dr. Petzel's resignation as, quote, a step towards addressing the leadership problem at the VA. I'll leave it at that. Those are the words that they said.
Is there any concern that his...
I mean, this is incredible. And look at how cold, bloodless, emotionless Jay Carney is. Vets are dying. Waiting list, secret waiting list now everywhere. Oh, the American Legion was satisfied with this, and it's a step in the right direction. And but I know, but he was going to retire last year. This resignation is meaningless. I just want to point you to the American Legion, and the American Legion supports this. And I don't know why you guys are getting so hot and bothered about this. This is the dear leader, and the dear leader is infallible, and you don't criticize the dear leader. Now, come on, what's the matter with you? Jonathan, what's the matter? You're getting off the page. Jonathan, you want to lose it? Jonathan, wink. You want to lose your access? Back off. Back off. Russ, you're up next on the great WRKO. Welcome.
You know, Bill is addicted to the Kool-Aid. Good luck in finding a primary care doctor you prefer in today's medical field. You know, President Schultz knows nothing. What he does know is how to manipulate the Justice Department through Eric Holder. And this is my question. Will Michelle hold a sign, treat our vets?
That's Russ. Where's Michelle with the hashtag and the sign? That's a great point, Russ. Honestly, no. You see, notice when it comes to Nigerians, don't get me wrong, I'm very sympathetic to those poor Nigerian girls, but ultimately, they're not Americans. They're strangers. I sympathize with them. Believe me, I don't like Boko Haram, but they're strangers. Hell, they're halfway around the world. They're in Nigeria. But when it comes to our own vets, where's hashtag? Where's Marxist Muchel? How come I don't see all these Twitter feeds? Nothing on Facebook, nothing on Twitter. All I get is Petzel. But we got rid of Petzel. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put out a no, I'm serious. You know what? Marxist Muchel, take it. You're working too hard. Take it easy, Muchel. Go on another vacation. You're killing yourself with all these hashtags. I'm going to go on Twitter today, I swear to you, and go hashtag treat our troops. Hashtag treat our troops. Everybody do it. Just do it. Put a picture of yourself with a sign. Hashtag treat our troops. Because I know they're not Nigerians. I understand that. I know they're fellow Americans. That's already 2 strikes against them. And they're vets, military people. That's 3 strikes against them. I bet many of them were conservatives and Tea Party people, but let that go. I'm tweeting it right now. Hashtag treat our troops. I tweeted. I need you to tweet. And maybe Marxist Muchel will join in as well. But don't hold your breath. Kenny, you're up next on a WRKO. Go ahead, Kenny.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you, Kenny?
I'm a combat veteran. I live up in New Hampshire, but I work in Connecticut. And I go to the West Haven VA. I want to tell you a story that happened to me last year.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. You think you're mad now? Hold on. I go to...
Kenny, hold on. Before you tell your story, I want to try to... I don't want to get a heart attack on the air, Kenny. Because I'm already pretty upset, Kenny. So I'm going to have myself a nice drink of water as you're talking, Kenny, and I'm going to keep myself calm. Go ahead. Shoot, my friend.
Okay, I go to the Newtown VA. Wonderful treatment. I have no problem at all. It's the Newington VA. So I have a degenerative bone disease in my lower back. I got hurt in Lebanon at 83. So they turn around, they send me down to West Haven. So we decide to go after hours because I have a better chance to get onto a CAT scan in the emergency room. So I take my girlfriend, who happens to be a critical care manager from a hospital. We get down there, they have no space, no private room for me. So they put me in the hallway of the emergency room. It's okay. Now, my problem is my back. So the doctor says I'm dehydrated, which is kind of impossible considering I was drinking on a large bottle of water at the time. So she decides to put an IV in me. So at the time she does this, she's doing her exam. A gentleman comes up to her and says, "Your Chinese food is ready." So she says, "Hold on." So she goes back to her desk and starts eating her Chinese food right in the middle of my exam. As I'm sitting in the hallway, there's a gentleman who's on a gurney in one of the rooms, and I'm right outside his room. He keeps calling. He needs to get off the gurney. He needs to go use the bathroom. I need to go use the bathroom. He kept yelling and screaming. And my girlfriend tells one of the gentlemen who's sitting around playing Tetris on his computer, the gentleman needs to go use the bathroom. And he's, like, ignoring her. So the gentleman tries to get off this gurney. They don't lock the gurney wheels down. The gurney slips out from under him. Slam! He hits his head on the ground. So my girlfriend yells over, the guy went down. One of the interns who's sitting here talking to his girlfriend on the telephone tells my girlfriend, leave him alone, we'll get to him when we can. 5 minutes later, the guy starts quivering on the floor like going into shock. They turn around, they code him. The crash cart comes, there's nothing on the crash cart to help this gentleman. They keep yelling for anesthesiologists to intubate this gentleman. The guy won't get off the phone with his girlfriend because he's talking to her. The guy's still playing Tetris. My doctor's still eating the Chinese food. So they turn around, one of the nurses comes in, the gentleman ends up dying during all this whole time. Okay? I turn around and I start raising hell. I call the Inspector General of the VA. What's the gentleman's name? I have no idea. Due to HIPAA, they're not going to tell me his name. I call the VA representative for Veterans Affairs, for the vet. What's the gentleman's name? Again, I have no clue. So I turn around and call the New Haven newspaper. I give the information to a reporter. 2 weeks later, she calls me back with the gentleman's name, because there's an obituary. I tracked the gentleman's family down. They told them that he just had a massive heart attack in the VA. They never told him the full story. Then they told them that if you turn around and pursue it, you're not going to get your benefits. They told me to shut up or I wasn't going to continue to get my benefits. I get a phone call from the chief of staff of the hospital who told me, he says to me, he goes, what do you do for work? I said, I'm an IT. And he goes, so you don't know anything about medical? I said, no, but I'll tell you the truth. I trust my mechanic more than I trust you. At least he won't let my car die. That's the whole thing about the VA.
Wow. Kenny, so in a nutshell, you're getting an IV, nurse is off having Chinese food.
No, not a nurse, a doctor.
A doctor. Oh, forgive me. The doctor is off having Chinese. Well, she's got to eat, Kenny. I mean, God forbid she should be doing her job, but let that go, Kenny. So, she's off stuffing her face with Chinese food. The intern is on the phone with the boyfriend. This poor guy collapses, falls out of the gurney, falls out of his gurney on the floor. One is still yakking with the boyfriend. The doctor is still stuffing her face with Chinese food. Correct, Kenny?
And the other one's playing Tetris on the computer.
Yeah, and the other one's playing games on the computer. And then you loyal guy that you are, you're the only one that wants to track this person's name, tell people what really happened. Everyone's giving you the runaround. You finally track the name. You then call up the parents. Was it the parents you contacted?
No, it was the son. The guy was a Vietnam veteran.
Okay, he was a Vietnam vet. So you contact the guy's his offspring, his son, and you're like, this is what really happened. This guy didn't just have a heart attack. This guy flew off a gurney because nobody was taking care of him, landed, smacked his head on the ground, and God knows what happened after that. And if they raise hell, they're going to lose their benefits. And if you raise hell, you're going to lose your benefits. Correct, Kenny?
Right. I'm 70% disabled, yes.
You're 70% disabled. Kenny,
they made that perfectly clear. If I kept pursuing it, they're going to come back and have me reevaluated.
That's how they roll.
That's how they roll.
Kenny, God bless you, sir, and thank you so much for your service. You know what? 1,000 of them are not worth one of you. I want all of you to think about this. Okay? This is another example. Look, you're going to be hearing thousands and thousands of these kinds of stories. Not just here, all across the country. The liberals that run this state and the liberals that run this country, and in particular, I'm talking about the dear leader and Mini-Me, they want to bring illegals out of the shadows, but they want to put our vets on secret lists. That's America today, my friends. Something is seriously wrong. Jimmy, you're up next. Thanks for holding. You're on WRKO. Welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. That just shows you Obama and the creeps in his administration's priorities. I mean, if they devoted a fraction, I mean, how could they not know? I mean, this, overwhelming, overpowering, intrusive government to every aspect of our lives, and he finds out about it by, a newspaper or something. Or, I mean, it's so ridiculous, but, have a state, a legislation or the people vote a referendum, or even the sheriff of a small town doing his job with illegal aliens and post haste, he got the wrath of the entire government coming down on them, overnight. In this state here, Justine's dad could tell you, when Deval got in, every state agency, it seems like they made a conscious effort to double down on corruption, because that Board of Registration of Medicine, when I went to report a doctor there, they're not supposed to. They gave the city my name, told them I did it, and there was retribution for it.
No, see, look, Jimmy, you nailed it. Look, this is the problem. I don't want to get too philosophical here, but you touched on it. This is the problem with massive government, when you have big government. It's like any institution. It wants to protect itself. It wants to cover up its power. It doesn't want to be held accountable. So all of these bureaucrats that are running the VA, they get huge bonuses and pay increases, salary increases, if they keep hitting 14 days on the waiting list. So what they did was they cooked the books. So, everybody's seeing a doctor within 14 days. In reality, troops were languishing for months, if not a year. Over 40 are dead, numerous others committed suicide, and nobody in the Obama regime wants to take the blame. I gotta go. 617-266-6868. More with your calls next. Welcome back to the Kuhner Report, 617-266-6868. It's now 7:36 on the great WRKO. Huge scandal engulfing the Veterans Affairs Administration, the VA. There are now reports that numerous vets have died in long waiting lists. Now it's coming out, many suicides have taken place. This is happening all across the country now. Reports coming out of Phoenix, Texas, Missouri, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Colorado. Apparently now there are more whistleblowers to come. My question to you is this. Is Barack Obama responsible to blame? Irresponsible? Should he be held accountable? Should he be blamed for this? And do you believe him when he says he first heard about it by watching television? And what does that say about this man? That every scandal in his administration, he only hears about on television. Either he's lying, or this man is the most incompetent fool we've ever had in the White House. Take your pick. Bruce, you're up next. Thanks for holding. You're on RKO. Go, Bruce.
I think I'd hashtag number 2 on that one. This cat's been asleep at the wheel since he's been in office. We can't really blame him for that. He bows to everybody else all over the world and sticks his mom Jean butt in our face. Illegals get better health care. He's flying around the world. He's busy partying with Beyonce, the Black Panthers, rappers, drug dealers, rats, Beyonce. And, I'm just totally disgusted, Jeff, because Russia, Putin takes great care of his guys. They get all the stuff. And, I mean, do we become communists to get the right kind of better health care for our military? I mean, you must be pretty much at your wit's end, but I'm going to try to make it on Saturday. I'm going to give it 110%. Thanks for looking out for everybody, and God bless you and everybody, Brittany, and even Cooksey.
Bruce, thanks so much for calling, and I really hope to see you on Saturday, buddy, for the Justina Pelletier rally.
I look forward to it, buddy.
Okay, take care, man. John, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Go.
Good morning.
Hey, John.
My friend was from the Korean War, and he's a little hard of hearing from the firing of the guns. Took him 4 years to get hearing aids, okay? And if you go on the website, he goes to the one in West Roxbury. It says if you do an inquiry, you will be responded to in 48 to 72 hours. He has been responded in 14 days to 30 days. He also told me that the whole system is not electronic, and I had asked him, what do you mean? He said when a stateside friend told him before he got out of the Army that he better bring a copy of his medical records because the system isn't working. So he had the wherewithal, because he was an officer, to bring his medical records with him, or he'd be on the 4-year waiting list. And it's a big joke, he told me, over at West Roxbury. Have a friend that worked in the lab. She couldn't take it. They told her she had to slow down. She comes from a profit biologic company, like one of those Genzyme companies. They told her, slow down, you're making us look bad. She looks at infectious diseases. She couldn't take it. She retired the minute she turned retirement age. She said it was awful how that place runs. Now, you remember a couple of years ago, didn't we have trouble with the one Reed Medical Center?
Yes.
So they all ran down there. They all supposedly took care of everything. Now, go to the next step. We want national health care. Well, we have darn national health care. The VA system, it's not working.
Brilliant.
So, you take all these points together, and I'm going to go hashtag number 2, probably the most incompetent, next to maybe Jimmy Carter was a bum too. But this president has to be chalked up as the worst in the world. He has destroyed international relations. He has destroyed business in this country. He has bought a large part of the voting base with the gimme girls and everybody on the lam. I don't think this country's coming back. There's too many people who would vote for the Democrats because they keep giving them all this stuff. That's like you voting your boss out if he's going to give you a raise. Why would you vote somebody in that's going to take away from your free cable TV, your Section 8 apartment?
John, listen, look, just to underscore your point, okay? Just to underline your point.
Sure.
Look at these libs when they call. Look, that guy Bill that called up, whatever, Morning Again in America Bill. Look
medical marijuana for Bill.
Look how ferocious they are in defending this man. Because they don't want to lose their benefits. They don't want to lose their welfare. They don't want to lose their government checks. So it doesn't matter how many, sorry, John, just how many vets are dying. Look, they'll defend him no matter what the cost.
It was a lie until it was the truth and vice versa. That's what they do. It was the truth until it was a lie. Benghazi, that one, they're not even touching that. They're too worried about, if you watch the news, they're worried about Brad Pitt and Angelina when they should be worried about these darn veterans. Benghazi, that woman should never even be able to set foot on government property. Hillary Clinton, if it was you or I, you fall down, you hit your head. Now there's not a court inquiry. Come on, you and I, we'd be arraigned at our bedside. She let people die. Then she said, it's over, forget about it. If you remember in the hearing how adamant she was.
Bingo.
So that woman, I mean, the rest of us, they are talking down to us. America is stupid, though. We have voted in these bums. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe the guy's a good speaker. He hasn't done a darn thing positive for this country.
Thank you for that call, John. He is Obama, the destroyer. And all he's doing is destroying. And now, literally, the bodies are starting to pile up. My friends, this Sunday, Brittany and I are going to be down at Cape Cod in Hyannis to help our troops. Cape Cod cares for the troops. We're going to be sending packages, toiletries, anything that the troops need, especially those fighting in Afghanistan. Now, you want to talk about the incredible support that people in Boston give to our troops. Bill Kelly. You've heard me talk about him. He's one of the leading financial advisors in New England and in America. This is a man who came from nothing, literally from rags to riches. He's never forgotten where he came from. And when I called him up yesterday and I said, Bill, we got to get some money. I got to go out there and buy supplies. We want to go down to Cape Cod. We want to send supplies to our troops fighting and dying in Afghanistan. Bill Kelly responded without even blinking, without even pausing. He said, how much you need, Jeff? I said, honestly, $200 would be great. He said, Jeff, I'll give you $2,000. I'll courier it over to your people right away. That's the kind of guy Bill Kelly is. He's like us. He's one of us. He puts our troops and patriotism first. Bill, thank you so much for coming on the Kuhner Report, and I want to thank you again, buddy, for your incredibly generous donation to Cape Cod Cares for the Troops.
Well, thanks a lot, Jeff. We're happy to be here. And back to what you were saying about Hillary Clinton. I mean, how would you like to be the only woman in Washington that Bill Clinton doesn't want to sleep with? That's a lonely life, Jeff.
Bill, I gotta. So now, Bill, I know you can't make it on Sunday down to Cape Cod. I understand it's Memorial Day weekend. You've already had other plans.
Yeah.
But Bill, I just want to tell people just what a great guy you are. Here you are. I call you up out of the blue. The moment you hear our troops need supplies, our troops need help, there you are with your checkbook. You made a donation of $2,000. Now, wow. Bill, am I correct what you told me yesterday that if any of our sponsors, any financial advisors, anybody out there, if they match that $2,000, you'll put in another $2,000?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Put the call out. Ernie Bach, we just bought a couple of cars over there, so... anyone, I don't want to call anyone out by name, but I love Ernie. Anyone, we use Sullivan Tire a lot. I know they're good. They're on the intercom system. Anyone who, up to another $2,000, we'll match it. Listeners, $50, whatever you got, $10, kids, $5, whatever we can do, we'll match. We'll definitely match another $2, definitely. If whoever puts it in, you set up the limits, you set the field up, Jeff, and we'll run the ball for you. How's that?
Bill, listen, honestly, I can't thank you enough. I know the troops can't thank you enough. Now, Bill, when we were talking a little bit yesterday on the phone, what touched me was your patriotism. When you said, hey, look, Jeff, I came from nothing. I started with nothing. What kind of a man would I be if I forgot my roots and I forgot the people who made all of this possible, and the troops fighting for our liberties, fighting for our freedoms. It's sure. Why I'm behind the mic, and it's why you've become such a successful financial advisor.
That's easy, yeah. Well, we've been protected my whole life. I've been protected against, I've had the freedom to fail, actually, and the freedom to succeed, and then, people have helped me all my life, Jeff. We want to help people. That's what we're doing. We want to help people. I mean, look, toast and syrup used to be a meal for us sometimes, and we didn't know it, and if we we put some powdered sugar on it, that was what we ate for dinner some nights, and we got through it. We didn't know it was poverty. Now we want to help people. We work with Project Hope, we work Wounded Warriors, we work wherever we can to help people. Jeff, any cause you have is good for us, so whatever I can do, whatever Kelly Financial can do, you let us know. But we definitely want to get some people calling in with some money, and if they do, we'll up it to another $2,000, Jeff.
Bill, you mentioned to me, I want you to repeat that story where it was late, you came, was it a restaurant or a bar, and you were jumped on, you were mugged. And so
I was mugged, yeah.
You were mugged.
Oh, yeah.
They were beating you, and you prayed, was it to the Virgin Mary? Or was
I remember, I just prayed to God.
You prayed to God, and you said, let me, tell the story, Bill. It's an incredibly moving story.
Yeah, I came out of a restaurant late one night, and three men attacked me, and I remember I'm standing up, and I'm thinking, I wasn't worried about what was happening. I just said, God, please let me stay standing, because if I fall to the ground, they're probably going to kill me. I just don't want to die, and I'll do anything I can, if I can survive this, to help anyone I can. And frankly, I never fell. They kind of get tired of beating me, and they left, and they were later arrested. But yeah, Jeff, I had that was a pretty bad night. My son one day asked me, what was your worst day ever? And I said, well, that was pretty much it, William. But we always thought, I told you, Jeff, I turned my back on the Lord. He never turned his back on me, and when I wanted to come back, and I needed to come back, and I was led to come back to God, they were there with open arms, and people were there to welcome me, and mercy's a great thing, and we've been protected, and this is a great country. We've been protected, and our spirit's coming back. You're part of it, Jeff. The right makes might, and we're going to find that out, and we need to include everyone. We don't want to be exclusive here. And we want to help everyone. Anyone who's hungry, they know they can call my 800 number anytime. Kids who need toys, people who need medical care, cars that need being fixed. We've worked with, hundreds of people And that's what we're here to do. You know, that's what really life is all about. The good things that you do last. Make somebody smile, and guess what? You're blessed, right, Jeff?
It's true, Bill. I've noticed this. When you give, for some strange reason, it comes back to you tenfold. I don't know why, but it just does.
And you're doing a great thing, Jeff, going down there with your house. I wish I could be there with you, but next year, if I have some more notice, I'll be there. We'll be there with you, stand with you. But that's a great thing you're doing. And Cooksey, amazing guy. Just doing what he does is amazing. But then saying, "Well, look, I'm going to spend Memorial Day weekend helping other people that need help." And so it's a great thing. We're honored to be a part of it. It's only money for me, for you. It's time and effort. So we just really want to commend you for that, and thank you.
Well, Bill, and I want you to know, because when you pledged $2,000 yesterday, I said, we're gonna, you sent us a check. Cooksey's going to cash it. He's going to go off, buy supplies for the troops. Brittany and I are going to bring it down on Sunday. I said to you right away, Bill, I don't want Cooksey pocketing any of the money. I said I want every receipt for every toothbrush, every toothpaste, every toiletry, every soap bar, everything I wanted. I want a receipt. Because I don't want my buddy Bill Kelly being fleeced by Bill Cooksey.
I know. Well, Cooksey makes so much money. This is nothing to him, right? I mean, but yeah, it's great. Well, we're very pleased, and I saw the movie Lone Survivor. I don't know if you saw that, Jeff, but it's a pretty hard movie to watch, and especially knowing the outcome. So they're having a rough time over there in Afghanistan, and short supply. Food, anything from home. I know when I was in the Army, getting a decent razor blade alone or some toothpaste is going to help, right, Jeff?
You got it, Bill. You got it. New England's leading financial advisor, Bill Kelly from Bill Kelly Financial. My friends, if you need someone to advise you to grow your retirement nest egg, give you solid financial advice for you and your family, to put you on a financial footing for the rest of your life, trust me, there's no one better, no one you can trust more than Bill Kelly. On my own, I want to do this. Let me give out the number again. 888-800-1881, 888-800-1881. Talk to Bill's people. Trust me. He's helped thousands of people. He'll help you. Bill, thank you so much for that generous donation.
God bless you, and God bless everyone listening.
God bless you, Bill. Thank you so much, my friend.
Okay.
Cheers. So Cape Cod Cares for the Troops. Bill Kelly has donated $2,000. He will match that $2,000 if anybody can come up with another $2,000, or if the audience decides, whatever, through $10, $20 donations. If the audience goes up to $2,000, Bill Kelly will then match it with another $2,000. If you want to bring in supplies, you can drop them off at our office right here in Brighton, WRKO, any packages. I'm going to be driving down on Sunday with Brittany. Grace will be there. Ashton and Ava will be there. There'll be events for the kids. It'll be a really fun time. It starts at 11 o'clock. I think it'll last till about 3 or 4 on Sunday. It's going to be at the Cape, right across from the Cape Cod Mall in Hyannis, in Cape Cod. And so I will be there, and I look forward to seeing as many of you there as possible. Please, if you can, give generously. They need toiletries. They need toothpaste, toothbrush. Brittany, what else? Oh, pantyhose. I swear to you, I'm not kidding. They need pantyhose when they're in Afghanistan to prevent the sand from going on their body or going into their guns. Razor blades, whatever you can give. Non-perishable goods are greatly, greatly appreciated. 617-266-6868. Kevin, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome to WRKO.
Jeff, I just want to say, you said Bill Kelly, rags to riches. You left out hard work, tenacity, going at it, in the sentiment that you demonstrate each and every day is not the pretentious. I've asked people that listen from your audience, they said, well, Jeff's from Canada. I says, well, he taught American studies on the revolution and all, and how much that means to us out here. And just picking up, John, the last caller, was so precise. You've asked whether or not that this administration should be held accountable, okay, whether it be Michelle or our undear leader. Look at Michelle. she was an administrator for the University of Chicago Hospital. What did she do during her salary that went up to $360,000? She was 316 or 17. She sent away the most needy, the most indigent. Her directives were to send people away. And then when we take the VA is Obamacare. It has been. And remember, when you was at the Washington Times, it was story after story after story about Walter Reed, how building after building was in disrepair, and how the New York Times exploited that. But yesterday, what are they showing? The poor immigrant front page stories, and how little that they're making. The illegal immigrant to you and I. Okay, so they just exploit the wrong emotions.
Bingo. When Bush was in office, Walter Reed, they wouldn't stop talking about Walter Reed. Now you've got 40 dead. Who knows how many are committing suicide? Nothing. Because you see, the vets now in Obama's America, they can be put on secret lists, but illegals, they have to come out of the shadows. Where Michelle from Cape Cod Cares for the Troops is on. Michelle, it's great to have you back on the Kuhner Report. How are you, Michelle?
I am doing well, and I am just so excited to hear about Bill Kelly's donation. That is awesome. Awesome. We can't thank him enough, and thank you guys. It's great to hear.
Oh, honestly, Michelle, it's the least we can do for the troops. They give so much to us, sacrifice so much. Honestly, the least we can do is help them help us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like we say, we've got to have their backs. They have our backs. We have to have their backs when they need us. We need to be there for them, both when they're in Afghanistan and when they come home.
Michelle, I'm just because a lot of audience members want to donate, they want to give supplies. I've mentioned toiletries, I've mentioned toothpaste, I've mentioned razor blades, I've mentioned toothbrushes. Is there anything else you recommend that they give? Apparently pantyhose, is that true?
That used to be true. It's not as true as much anymore.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
They used to use them to cover their guns to keep the sand out.
Okay.
That's not always an issue. They still have some, but when somebody one time sent the pantyhose, they ended up getting thousands and thousands. So we don't send as much anymore as we used to at the beginning, but they need a lot of the powdered drink mixes to mix with water because they have to drink so much water this time of year, and they get tired of water, so anything that flavors the water, snacks, any kind of snack foods is great. And also socks.
Now, Michelle, sorry, when you say snacks, you mean like Snickers, M&Ms?
Well, not chocolate this time of year because it's 130 degrees, so everything that's chocolate melts.
Melts.
So snack foods, we're looking for more like peanut butter crackers, granola bars, power bars, anything like that, microwave popcorn, even microwavable soups and things like that they could use for snacks and to eat if they miss meals.
Okay.
So anything like that is great, but otherwise all the toiletries, and also just as important is some handwritten cards and letters to put in the care packages to let them know that we support them.
Now, Michelle, I'm getting a lot of texts like this. This is one from 978. Jeff, please post the mailing address. I want to send merchandise now and throughout the year. Please, Jeff, what's the address and who do I send it to? Michelle, who do they send it to, and can you give out the address? Please do it slowly and say it a few times because people will be writing it down.
Okay, it's Cape Cod Cares for the Troops, and the address is 1831 Long, L-O-N-G, Pond, P-O-N-D, Road, and that's in Brewster, Massachusetts, 02631. And our website, if they want to make a donation through PayPal, is Cape Cod, 4, thetroops.com.
Michelle, can you just give all of that out just one more time, please?
Absolutely. Send everything to Cape Cod Cares for the Troops, 1831 Long, as in L-O-N-G, Pond, P-O-N-D, Road, in Brewster, Massachusetts, 02631. And then the website is Cape Cod, 4, thetroops.com.
Now, Michelle, I'm getting a lot of texts from people saying they've already donated $10, $20, $25. I think they're doing it maybe through the website, through PayPal. Let us know if we hit the magic $2,000 mark.
Okay.
Because if we're at $2,000, Bill Kelly will again match that and put another $2,000 in there.
That's awesome. We'll keep track of that today.
And Michelle, look, just between you and me, among us girls, as they say, if you get close to 2,000, give me a buzz. Give me a ring. I'll get it up to 2,000.
Absolutely. That's awesome. You guys are amazing. And we really can't thank you enough for supporting our organization. I'm looking forward to calling Dylan soon and just telling him what's going on. He'll be shocked.
Now, Michelle, so it's going to be this Sunday.
This Sunday.
In Hyannis. It starts at 11 o'clock, correct?
Right. The opening ceremony starts at 11:30.
Across from Cape Cod Mall, right?
Across from Cape Cod Mall at the Kmart parking plaza. And like I said, the first troops will take the stage at noon, and every hour they'll switch off for 24 hours, and there'll always be somebody standing at attention on that stage for an hour. And then we honor, at the opening ceremonies, we'll honor our World War II and Korea veterans. And at 2 o'clock, we'll have a special ceremony for our Vietnam veterans. So there's stuff going on throughout the day. It really is a family event. We've got a huge kids tent, lots to do, barbecue lunch for everybody. So it's a great event, and it's a great way to spend a day. And we also have a car show, a cruise night later on in the day from 4 to 7 right there in the parking lot also.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've got stuff to keep everybody entertained and busy. And all while supporting our troops. We'll have a lot of military there, so it'd be great for everybody to go up and thank them for their service.
Michelle, I will be there. Brittany will be there. My wife, Grace, my 2 kids. So everybody out there, if you want to bring your family, it's going to be a nice family environment, Memorial Day weekend. Now, Michelle, I'm getting bombarded in my headphones from Brittany and Cooksey. They want to know about the dogs. Are dogs, military dogs, are they going to be honored? Is that what you want to know, Brittany, or is there a military dog show or something?
Well, we started another part of Cape Cod Care Service Troops. It's called Rocky's Warriors, and we send care packages to the canine soldiers over in Afghanistan, the military working dogs. So some people who are really dog lovers they bring donations, things for the dogs like spray bottles.
That's Brittany. Brittany's bringing the dog treats. Brittany says she's going to bring a lot of treats for the dogs.
There you go. Actually, later in that night, as things quiet down, we're going to put together care packages for the K-9 soldiers over in Afghanistan. So that'll be a big highlight of the night, is everybody that wants to help put some of those care packages together, and those will be mailed out the week following Troops in the Spotlight. So.
Michelle, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. It starts at 11 o'clock, Sunday, May 25th, across from the Cape Cod Mall in Hyannis, in the Kmart parking lot. I will be there. I'll be bringing in supplies. Please, if you can come down, great. I'd love to see you. If you can't, you can drop supplies off here at our office, or you can mail them out to the address that Michelle gave, Cape Cod Cares for the Troops. Michelle, you're doing the Lord's work, and I can't thank you enough. God bless you.
Thank you. You too, and I look forward to meeting all of you guys.
Take care, Michelle. See you on Sunday.
You too. All righty. Bye-bye.
My friends, I have so blown the heartbreak. It's not even funny. It's 8:03. I gotta go. Yes, there's gonna be some commercials. I apologize. 8:03. Let's take it to Angela in the newsroom.
News at the top and bottom. Talk in between.
And why won't anybody discuss this but me?
This is AM 680 WRKO, Boston.